Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Wow, this is weird. This feels much smaller than the S6. The S4 is a pretty damn hard thing to beat. Hi, Internet. This is my friend Alex. He's driving the S6 today. I'll be driving the S4 in the second half of this video. If you missed the last video, we compared his B8.5 S4 with this C7.5 S6 and walked you guys through the options, the maintenance, all that fun stuff on the cars. This will be how the S6 and the S4 compare driving impression-wise.
So, initial sort of moving impression here. This car is about 700 pounds heavier than an S4.
Yeah.
And you definitely feel it. But the big trade-off here is this car, A, is bigger, B, you get in here and you actually feel completely isolated from outside. I can't hear what's going on. I feel like whatever's going on outside does not matter.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
But, you know, it still does have a pretty decent steering rack as far as quickness. And it's got the huge brakes, so, you know, you can make it do what you need it to. But
this car also comes on factory air ride.
yes.
The S4 comes on factory coilovers. What are you thinking? You want to turn around here? Not bad turning radius for a big car, if we're going to talk about that. We are on a very residential, or not residential, we're on a very low speed road. So for this whole video, don't expect anything crazy, although we may have a little Mexican highway action between the two cars, just to, you know, gauge which one you should buy, that kind of stuff.
I haven't been there in a while, so.
Now, for the most part, this car is about $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 more expensive than its comparable S4 counterpart, but Alex's car, to make it fair, actually does have a stage 1 integrated engineering ECU tune, and it also has the integrated engineering DSG tune. We got all sorts of stuff in the trunk that's sliding around.
You don't get the V8 noise in the S4.
No, you don't. You do get intake noise. Your car's an intake too. But
you don't get a V8.
That tune and the intake start to offset the price difference between the S6 and the S4. It also probably equalizes the power playing field for the most part.
Yeah.
The S6 makes 400-ish horsepower from the factory. The S4, oh baby, we're going for it.
Yeah.
The S4 makes probably I don't know, I made 350 wheel horsepower, 315 wheel torque in my stage 1 S4 on a Mustang dyno, so pretty similar power levels to the S4 with a stage 1 tune.
The other thing about this car, the obvious thing that we spoke about in the last video, is the air ride, the biggest difference. So this car is buttery smooth when you want it to be.
For sure.
I mean, for you as a kid, this must be perfect.
This is perfect.
Literally, I could sleep in this driving.
Yeah. The other cool thing it does is it adapts based off of the amount of weight in it, so it's always leveling itself. So, you know, if you have a really heavy friend in the back seat or something like that, the car is not going to be lopsided. It's just going to put more air in that bag back there to keep the car level.
It's perfect for Kramer. A little tunnel blast.
Yeah, let's do it. There's no cops in on the other side,
windows?
Right? No, it won't make any noise if you put the windows down.
I'm going to crack mine.
Okay, crack it.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything either.
I felt
You know what's
something.
funny is sometimes on camera it comes across like that low frequency.
Yeah.
I said in another video, I was like, this car doesn't make any noise, and then you can hear the speaker really well. That pipes the noise in here because it's not real exhaust noise. But so I think for me, and I haven't driven an S4 recently, so I'm gonna hold on my thoughts compared to the S4. The S6 is very comfortable, like you said, is very isolated, and what it does really well is from like 70 to more than 70 miles an hour on the highway, which you shouldn't be doing. There is almost no change in the car. It does not feel like it's trying hard. It does not feel like you have to put any effort into the gas pedal for the car to really, really, really get moving. And that goes back to Alex's point of being more isolated. I think the S6 just, you know, it has active noise cancellation as far as the internet tells me. It just keeps you kind of separate from the road, which, if you're gonna go out and carve back roads all the time, isn't necessarily the greatest thing.
Does this car have double pane glass?
I don't believe so.
Yes, it does.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, well, Alex says it has double pane glass. The S4 does not.
The S4 does not.
Okay. Well, there's another sound cancellation thing.
Yeah, more about the experience. You know, you can still, like I said, you can still hustle this car on a back road. It'll do the thing. It's just, you know, I think the S4 might be just a little bit more rewarding in that regard, just solely because it's lighter and a little bit more nimble.
All right, we are gonna hop on the highway here.
This is a great off-ramp here, on-ramp, I guess, where we can kind of feel the weight difference if we don't get, well,
Screwed over.
Yeah. Oh well.
I thought minis were supposed to be agile. We're catching them in the 4,300 pound S6.
Yeah, well, he's just gonna, yeah. There's no fun here.
I don't know if you'll be able to do anything too crazy anyway. Do you think the shifts are firmer in this car than the S4?
It feels a little tighter. The CRV is going.
I don't remember having a kick in the S4.
Not as
This one
much.
has a kick in the pants when you upshift.
So let's do a quick little pull here from 35. So first thing I noticed right away, and I wasn't used to this, is the red line on this car is way lower, which makes sense as a twin turbo V8. So it looks like it auto upshifts around 6,500, maybe even a little before.
Yeah, like 63-ish.
Whereas the S4 with the stage 1 tune revs out to 7,200.
Yeah, and there's more power to be had up top in the S4 with the stage 1 tune, and as you do the pulleys, you obviously have even more potential. I don't know if there's more power to be had in this car by revving it out higher.
Yeah.
I will have to do some Google. I would imagine with bigger turbos, you probably don't run out of puff up top, and you could probably rev it higher, but on the stock turbos, I don't know if there's any benefit to revving it higher than 6,300.
The other noticeable thing is, even though this car has some decent-sized turbos and does have some turbo lag, it has the torque to fill it and kind of make up for it.
Yeah, I think if it was a 6-cylinder twin turbo, you would definitely feel it more than the 8-cylinder. It's very good at when you kind of just tiptoe into the gas. The car has your back for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing about the S6 is that it has 4-cylinder mode. So on the highway, when you're not in the throttle, the car will actually drop 4 cylinders and get you better fuel economy, which is not something that the S4 does. But when you're not in 4-cylinder mode, the S4 definitely gets better fuel economy than the S6 does. I think on a long road trip, you would probably get semi-comparable gas mileage between the two, but around the city and stuff like that is where the S4's V6 is going to shine compared to the S6.
So another thing, while we're cruising on the highway here, this car rides so much smoother. Did I already mention that? Because this is just a completely different experience just from the ride alone from the S4. You know, I always felt the S4 would kind of crash over bumps a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't say it's an uncomfortable car, because it's not.
No, it's not.
But the suspension is definitely a little stiffer, and it really shows here, especially cruising on the highway and getting off.
So I think that was my issue with the S4 and the SQ5, is that when I put coilovers on both cars, they rode better than stock, because when Audi takes it from A4 to S4, it seems like they just firm up the spring rates.
It's artificially stiff.
Yeah, it's not good stiff, and when you get a coilover that has, you know, proper damping and all that stuff, that tends to ride a little bit better. Now with the air ride, obviously, we're going back this way.
Yeah, we went one exit.
Oh, okay. Oh, we lost our little.
That's how you take a line through there.
That was pretty good. So, do you think this feels more nimble than the S4?
I can't say it feels more nimble. It did just surprise me back there on that on-ramp. But, you know, I can still, especially in the first road we were on, I can still feel the weight. It's really, you kind of feel it exiting the corner, and sort of a little bit on the entry too. It kind of shimmies a little bit, but it can do it. It still is, you can still go out with your friends and have fun on a back road once in a while.
And I don't think you would get lost. I just don't think you'd be leading the pack in this
You wouldn't
car.
be leading the pack, but, you know, especially on the straights, you would certainly have the power to keep up with
Yeah.
It does seem like it's, I don't want to use the term dumbed down, but it does seem like it is a little kind of like made intentionally like a little slushier, a little more comfortable. probably for the buyer who generally buys this car.
Yeah, that's fair. And Audi is not thinking of us when they build this car. They're thinking of the first buyer who's buying, instead of me who's buying a mid $30,000 car, the first buyer is buying an $80,000 car. This car is stickered for $82,000 off the lot. And so they want to make it soft. They want to make it feel nice, because you are buying a luxury car. You're buying a sports car or a sporty car, but it's a luxury car first and a sporty car second. Yes. Whereas the S4, I think they went a little bit more sporty car first, luxurious feel second, which makes sense. Again, it's an A4 chassis versus an A6 chassis.
Right.
Well, let's jump back into let's jump into the S4. I haven't driven an S4. When's the last time I drove an S4? I don't know if I've driven one since I crashed mine. I just sat down in Alex's car, which is still very cold because obviously it's been sitting here while we were out driving. This is weird. Definitely, the seats definitely aren't as comfortable as the S6.
Welcome back home.
They're not as soft. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I think the seats are a little firmer.
The steering's heavier.
Steering's heavier. Seats are firmer.
Firmer, not less comfortable. They're firmer. You're right. They don't have the give that the S6 seats do. I'm gonna take it very easy on Alex's car until it warms up, so maybe we won't get on it until the highway. Wow, this is weird. This feels much smaller than the S6. Where's my mute button? Oh, okay.
There it is.
This feels much smaller than the S6, like behind me wise. There's not as much car behind me for sure. And I thought the S6 felt small once you started driving. It feels big after sitting in here. It definitely rides more firm. You can feel more bumps in the road. Your thoughts of suspension wise are definitely true, which is to be expected. The S6 and the A6 are supposed to be more cushy. Wow, the steering is much heavier than my car. Are we in dynamic right now? Is that why?
Yes, or we're in individual.
Oh, okay, all right.
Also,
I think we drove my car in auto. This car is tuned, I forget that. That might be why I feel like it's more likely to be in the right gear than the S6 was.
It was a little slushy before. It was fine, it did the job, it did what it was supposed to, but...
Can we make the same U-turn that we made in the
imagine.
S6?
If we can't, that's a problem.
Oh yeah, even better.
Look at that.
Professional. I miss my car making noise at all.
Yeah.
SQ5 was so loud, and now I'm in a car that doesn't do anything. It feels really weird. It's definitely way more nimble. I think you were kind to the S6. This car is way more nimble than the S6 is. It's not wobbly. Sorry for dipping you back and forth there. It's not like wobbly like the S6 is, and you could probably firm it up with the air ride or whatever by riding at a higher ride height. This is a smaller car, and it feels more nimble and more like ready to point and go. So here's an interesting thing. When I bought my S4, nobody batted an eye. When I bought my SQ5, nobody batted an eye. When I bought the S6, people are like, damn, he can afford an S6? I don't know why. I mean, I guess I do know why, because it's a bigger car or whatever. But for some reason, the S6 gets more attention than the S4 or the SQ5. The SQ5 is understandable because that's an SUV, but the S6 like grabs people's attention and makes you like, I don't know, maybe they think you're more wealthy or whatever. It's just, it's interesting to see people's perception of the S6 versus the S4. Alex was saying he thinks the S6 is better looking than the S4. I think an S4 lowered on some nice wheels with, all the carbon goodies looks really good, but then it crossed my mind that the S6 is much more rare than the S4. I mean, the odds of you seeing an S6 out in public seem pretty low. I think the production numbers were just lower. Not as many people bought them as opposed to the S4. And so you could argue all you want about which car looks better. The S6 is more unique.
Yeah, definitely.
My car a little lowered on the RS5 rotors too compared to your car in stock form.
Right.
Obviously, I have a leg up there, but once you get the S5 peelers and a little bit lower on this thing, it'll be a pretty good looking combination. All right, little tunnel blast with the intake. It actually makes noise.
A little bit.
Yeah, this definitely does feel more, I'm almost like waiting for the little bit of body roll and then the S6 sets itself.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird because it doesn't have that. It just points and goes.
Yeah, a lot of that is the sport diff because it's in the rear, and so it kind of helps the back end follow.
Yeah, it's definitely much more nimble than the S6. I've said this before. I don't know if it was this video or the last video or whatever. I think for most people, the S4 makes more sense than the S6. It's just less maintenance heavy. It's more nimble. I don't know if it's more fun to drive. I guess it depends on what kind of driving you're doing. If you're like in the canyons every day, this is definitely more fun than the S6. If you're on the highways all the time, the S6 might be a little more fun.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the other thing. What are you buying the car for? Because if it's your daily driver and, you know, you're just in and out of the city, just going around wherever, then I think this is the better car. But if you are someone that spends long highway trips,
like me,
you know, yeah, exactly, like anything where, you know, you're in the car a long time, maybe you do want that extra comfort. Maybe you should opt for that car, but obviously be aware of the potential maintenance costs and other costs associated with it.
And if you want to learn more about maintenance costs and the other costs associated with it, Alex and I just made a video, the past video uploaded on this channel. I'll put a little card in here of, or maybe I'll put the card in earlier in the video, I don't know. But we just made a video on comparing the cars, stationary, non-driving, maintenance-wise, interior-wise, exterior-wise, all that fun stuff. This definitely feels faster than the S6.
I didn't want to say it, but I think, and it's only because of the tune, but I think it might be a little bit quicker, but we'll see.
Yeah, we may have to make a trip to a certain highway in a certain foreign country.
Tijuana, right?
Yeah. Tijuana Expressway. Oh, there's a truck coming.
Oh no. It's the only safe thing to do.
Although that didn't really work out.
There's a pilot.
So your car does do that. Okay, so I'm just remembering wrong or something.
No, okay, so I also have the trans insert from 034. 034.
7th gear drive. Let's go up to faster speeds. It doesn't feel like it wants to go like the S6 does in 7th gear.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that has to do with the V8 torque, right?
Definitely. I mean, yeah.
The S6, like, it's not hard to go fast in this car. We're going above the speed limit, obviously, but the S6, I think, does it more willingly. Yeah. If I were to drop 2 gears and then lean into it, very instantaneous that way. Which exit am I taking?
The next 26.
One?
Okay. So the other insulated.
Oh, just real quick, it doesn't feel like it's trying once you're there. I think what I'm trying to get to is from like 70 to 90, let's say. The S4 feels like it has to put in more effort to get there. Once you're there, it's the same. But the S6 just kind of like lean into the gas, and it's like, okay, let's go faster.
The other thing is that, I'm not sure if we mentioned about it in the last video with the S6, is that it masks speed very well.
Yes.
So, you know, you can look down. It's just one of those cars where you can look down and be like, oh crap, I'm doing twice the speed limit, for example, and you just wouldn't know.
I may have done that a couple times.
Yeah, and so I think that provides, as well as like there's even like little bumps in the road that like in the S6 there's no way we would have felt that, but like this car you definitely feel it. There's
more road noise too.
Yep, it's not as quiet in here, it's not as isolated, kind of aware of your surroundings. You know, like I've said this entire series, the S4 is the package. It does everything you need it to do well, but not perfectly. And the S6 does a couple things very, very perfectly and can do everything else really well too. And
then you have the minus in the maintenance department.
Right. You know, there's a trade-off for everything. Nothing's free in life, guys.
Damn, not only are we getting an S4, S6 comparison, we're getting some life advice.
Wisdom.
And learnings. All right, let's get some torques. Much more instantaneous than the S6, obviously, with the lower motor. The S4 is a pretty damn hard thing to beat.
Yep.
Red light to stop. That also means the end of the video. If you've stayed this long, there may or may not be a clip at the end of this video of 2 people who drive similar cars to Alex and I doing a minor acceleration to the speed limit. But as always, this is Alex. I'm Eli. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go out there and spread some positivity. And we will catch you guys in the next video. I didn't forget about you. What if that's not recorded? We'll catch you guys in the next video too. Actually, they're the same people, but they're not for us.
No, they're not. They're different. Bye. All right, look at me. 1, 2, 3.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you're out on me. You are out on me. Damn it!
Yes.
Oh, my. I thought I had a chance. Just remember that, internet, that wasn't me driving, okay?